Hello everyone, it's me Melissa and we are in the ranting shop today to discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 3 Episode 18 entitled Lo and Behold. And I noticed that they love coming up with these clever names for the title of these shows, particularly surrounding the whole name. Like the last time it was Matt telling it like it is. So that really lets us know that this show is centered around the Holt family. And the other people are just supporting actors, supporting cast members. Okay, so the Holts are continuing their conversation from last episode and they're arguing about boundaries. Martel says that he says F you and your man, and he proceeds to call him ugly, which is very petty. And he says to Mel, after you've written 2 songs about me, you're saying I'm petty. So if you're able to be petty that way, then I should have a right to be petty. So his form of petty is to see Melody at a hotel, at a restaurant, their favorite restaurant, he says, as a family, going on a date with another man and filming it. That's his level of petty. Now I'm not sure what he was gonna do with that video that he took. I don't know how he thought that would put her in a negative light. I don't know how he felt like that was gonna be something that we were gonna hate her for doing, but it just seemed stupid to me. And as I said before, it appears that Martel keeps holding on to these petty moves to get a one up on Melody, but it always fails because it just does not make any sense. I mean, how would I be looking going into a restaurant where I know that my ex is with another person having a date? Like, how is that gonna benefit me? As far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna be the one looking stupid, not you, because they're divorced. So he says Mel does not respect boundaries, so why should he? Now, they say, why should she respect him after he cheated? So that's very true. Now, as I said before, the conversations and the back and forth between Melody and Martel always end with Melody saying something about or making reference to the fact that Martel also cheated. Every time they argue, the last thing Melody says is, you cheated. And that also happened here. And she said, basically, you didn't do anything worthy of me respecting you. You lied to me. You were not being honest within the marriage. Why do you think that requires me to respect you? So I think every woman understands that, you know, nobody should be respecting a cheater because what you're doing is not respectful. So I do understand that, but I'm just not quite understanding why Martel went to the restaurant and filmed. I know that this is your family restaurant. When you guys were married, you would frequent that restaurant. That was your favorite restaurant. Okay, but I feel as if some people feel like Melody went to that particular restaurant to be petty, but I feel like if Martel didn't happen to bounce up on her, how would he know where they went? How would he know? And as far as I'm concerned, that's not his business. So even though she went to their favorite so-called restaurant as a family, that should no longer be his problem as far as I'm concerned. So I felt like she may have been petty, but I don't see it as her being petty. I see it as her just going to a favorite restaurant with somebody else. And if he had been minding his business and doing what he needed to do as a dad and whatever, then he wouldn't know, and so it would not affect him, you know. So then there's that. So Kimmy and her friend Patricia talk, and Kimmy has known Patricia for a long time. Patricia has helped out with her kids. She's helped out with Patricia's kids. Patricia has twins, and they talk about like how one of her kid is so much like her while the other is like the husband or the boyfriend or whatever. They talk about Jalen They talk about Monster. Kimmy was saying Jalen and Monster are very similar, so she kind of felt like she picked off where she left off. So it was easy for her to get back into that parenting mode, I suppose. Then they talk about Maurice. Maurice wants to be a boss everywhere. His mindset is very archaic, and then they're like joking that he's a Scot. So that's probably just the MO of the Scot men. They're all that way. They're all very, how do you call it? Misogynistic. They're very old school as far as they're thinking of the man's role as compared to the woman's role and so on. So they talk about honeymoons, and the friend Patricia was saying like perhaps a honeymoon would, be something that would be good for them. They talk about their friend Kai, and I didn't quite understand what they were talking about initially, and then it eventually, became clear to me. Kai is Kiowa, and it looked as if what happened was that they were talking about the fact that Kiowa and Maurice were in a bad spot in their marriage, and Maurice he was through. He had no intentions of wanting to fix the marriage. He had no intentions of wanting to salvage anything. He was done. He had already signed the papers. He went over to Patricia, I suppose, for some place to stay. I don't know what it was, but he went to Patricia. Maybe he was Patricia's friend. I'm not sure. And Patricia then introduces Maurice to Kimmy. So it seemed as if Patricia is Kimmy's friend who introduced her to Maurice. And she said that by the time she came in the picture, him and Kaiwa were already done. Their marriage was finished. Papers were signed as far as he was concerned. He had signed the papers. She was dragging her foot on signing the papers, but he was done. She claimed she was never, ever, ever, ever a side chick, and that Kiowa was looking for something to be mad at Kimmy for. And it definitely looked like, now I don't know what the timeline is like. Nobody is giving us a timeline of events. We have Kimmy's side and we have Kaiwa's side, and Kaiwa feels as if Kimmy definitely kind of broke up any chance that her marriage had to work. Because the minute Kimmy came in, it was the done deal. Everything was squashed, finished, nothing. But according to what the friend Pat is saying, he was already through with the marriage. So I'm very confused. And then she's basically saying Kaiwa just wants to be mad at her for something. Like she's saying there's nothing for Kaiwa to be mad at her for. So she just concocted this timeline and this homewrecker thing and placed it on Kimmy so that she could be upset with Kimmy. But Kimmy doesn't see it that way. So they talk about Tisha, and Patty saying Tisha was not on your side, girl. Tisha was out here talking to Kaiwa, agreeing with Kaiwa, and we saw that. We see that Tisha could be a very petty person. When she doesn't get what she wants, she's gonna do some passive-aggressive things, underhanded things that, may rub you the wrong way, because you're probably gonna be thinking, why would you do that, But we definitely saw her being on the side of Kaiwa. So Marisol and Tisha. Marisol books a surprise session with some money editors, a married couple. There's some type of money counselors or something. Says he learned that Tisha likes surprise sessions, so essentially he did it to be petty, because his problem with Tisha is that she's spending too much money. But then my thing with Marisol is that he never takes accountability for his spending. Everything is Tisha's fault. And Tisha has said time and time again that when she spends, it's not only for her. She's spending for her and the kids. But that does not really, it's still not a good enough justification for Marceau. As far as he's concerned, she's spending too much of his money. Of their money, sorry. Alright. When Marceau makes financial decisions, he does not include Tisha in the decision-making process. He bought 2 cars without her even knowing. She only noticed it after the cars came. And the council spoke on them having 2 different reasons and degrees of spending. Tisha states shopping is one of her fondest childhood memories with her mom. So that's kind of like her comfort zone. But she also knows to work hard for the money. And that is why she went to school. They go to see what her excessive spending looks like in the bedroom. The bed is messy, whatever. And she explained why she buys certain things. So she talked about makeup, she talked about hair. Okay, and then they went to look at his car. And the doors open up like, these butterfly doors they talk about in wrapping. He had these butterfly doors, so that was an expensive car. So what they're saying is communication is what the issue is. It's not even necessarily that you're spending this and she's spending that. Marceau's thing is, I'm gonna put all the blame on Tisha. But he refuses to take accountability for his own things and what he chooses to purchase with the money as well. I'm pretty sure if you were to do a side-by-side monetary breakdown of what each person spends, that is gonna amount to the same thing. Because as much as maybe Tisha spends on bags and makeup and stuff like that, some bags tend to be very expensive, like the Hermes bags, the Louis Vuitton bags, the Yves Saint Laurent bags. These bags are expensive, but these luxury cars are also expensive. So I'm not gonna be surprised if they spend equal amounts of money. They spend exorbitantly, but on different things. So then I'm happy that they said communication was the issue, because that is essentially what the problem is. Okay, but it turns out that whenever Tisha says she tries to explain the spending and everything to Marceau, his response is to not want to hear what she spends or how she spends it or the breakdown of the cost. So they eventually decided to choose a day that they will discuss the finances. And I'm thinking the reason why Marceau has been hiding or has not wanted to hear Tisha's point of view as far as the spending is concerned, I was thinking it probably had a lot to do with maybe he's cheating, maybe he's using the money to spend on other people, to spend on another family, allegedly, who knows? Maybe he's using the money to finance something else, and maybe that's why he feels all this pressure from Tisha, because her spending puts a big toll on him, because now he has to figure out how to get more money to support his other lifestyle. But we don't know that. But he definitely does some fishy things. Like, you complain about Tisha spending, but for some reason you don't want to talk about it. That's weird. And the only way that makes sense is by him not wanting to be open with the finances. He can hide what he does. And the only reason why he probably wants to hide what he does is because what he's spending the money on could potentially ruin their marriage. So he doesn't want to open that kind of worms. So instead, he decides, okay, let me not ask her so that she doesn't ask me, But anyways, they decided on a date to talk about the finances. And I really hope they do speak about it so that it could give clarity to both parties. Maybe they could reiterate their goals, their financial goals, and make sure everybody is in line as far as what the expectation is moving forward, for the amount of money they spend daily. Okay, so that was cool. Now we go to Destiny's networking event. So Destiny came up with this event where she's gonna be providing resources for, wannabe entrepreneurs in the beauty industry, and meeting them up with maybe possible vendors, possible retailers, possible, things like that. And I think it was a wonderful initiative. All the women were there at a nice table, and I noticed Tiffany dressed like she was this woman in the Victorian era. I'm not understanding what outfit she had on, but anyways, that's beside the point. So they're at the event, and Destiny comes to the table, and Melody feels away because the sponsorship package wasn't sent to her, but it was sent to the friend, Pat. And Melody is feeling salty, and Destiny is saying that she forgot. She completely forgot. But then also, Melody is not the most reliable as far as showing up to events and so on and so forth. So anyways, they exchanged their petty back and forths. That was squashed, and then that created an entrance for Tisha to now talk about her sponsorship, her event, the Destiny Race, and the fact that she didn't receive any of the money from the sponsors, who included, I believe, I don't know if Destiny was a sponsor and Melody, because she pointed to Melody for sure, but the other person she pointed to wasn't on the screen. So I'm thinking maybe it was Destiny, and then Melody's like, oh, you didn't get the money from my person. I don't know what happened with that. There was not really a resolve as far as if she will be getting the money, but I'm pretty sure she will. And then Melody was like, oh, it doesn't bother me that Tisha wants to talk about finances at the table, because if it was me, I would do the same thing. Okay, fine. Then it goes on to the problem that Tisha and Kimmy have, and the sponsorship thing and everything like that. They had that conversation last week or whatever, and that conversation is being reiterated again and being exposed again. Kimmy felt like, even though I sent you the money after our argument, the money was sent. So Kimmy is saying, like, do you prefer me send the money, or do you prefer me not send the money? And Kimmy's like, well, you still didn't Tisha's like, you still didn't respond to your text messages, but do you want me to respond to the text messages, or do you want me to send you the money? So they clearly still have some problems that they need to work through. You could smell and feel the animosity towards them, the tension towards them. It's thick, it's uncomfortable, and I hope they come to a resolve. Tisha feels like Melody was saying all these things about you, but you don't give her any smoke. But when it comes to me, I get all the smoke from you. Why? And I just feel like she doesn't have any beef with Melody, so why would she start things with Melody? Her problem is with you, Tisha. So why you expect her to spread the animosity around when her main issue is you? So anyways, Tisha is upset. She gets up, she takes Tiffany, and they go somewhere else to talk. Now that abrupt leaving the table, it just seemed very weird to me and out of place. But anyway, she left, and they started talking about Tiffany. She's like, I don't know anything bad about you, Tiffany. Tell me something bad. Now that was so unnatural. Like, do you just go up to people and say, I don't know anything bad about you, can you tell me something bad? Like, who does that? That is something that you work towards. It's not something that somebody automatically opens up and tells you. So that was very weird. Anyways, Tiffany stated that she's cheated on her partner before. Now, I'm not sure if she cheated on Louis or if she cheated on her first husband. I'm thinking she cheated on her first husband, and Louis cheated on probably his previous mate as well. And she stated it was in high school, and even though he was giving her everything, she needed something more, and she felt like she could have done better, whatever the case may be. And yeah, she spoke about that. And she also alluded to the fact that her child's dad is dead, which she skated past. I'm wondering, like, what is it that caused his death? And I don't know, it's just really weird to me. So that conversation was very strange, out of place, abrupt, weird, just forced. I didn't really care for it. So we come back to everybody comes back together. I forgot to mention that Destiny premiered her cover shoot, which was a very lovely cover, and she shared her partnership with a magazine editor, magazine producer, I suppose you call them, and that was a wonderful, wonderful initiative. Destiny decided to do something nice for Kimmy. She decided to give Kimmy a 7-day honeymoon trip. And that's nice of her. I'm wondering where that came from, though. Yeah, I understand that Kimmy did not ever have a honeymoon, but still, like, they're not really that close. And for that not so close friend to offer you a 7-day honeymoon trip that's a big gift. I'm just wondering if it's like a island honeymoon, or if it's like Mexico, or if it's, how exquisite the honeymoon trip is. So Kimmy and Maurice talk, and they're having this date night thing, and he speaks about what him and Dr. Francis discussed about him having 2 wives, and Kimmy appreciates that someone got through to Maurice, because she's tired. She's tried so much to explain certain things to him, and it just appears like because Kimmy is a woman, he dismissed what she was saying or what she was trying to say. But because Dr. Francis is a man, he's more receptive. I just feel like these men don't really respect women and their points of view. That is why when you try to explain certain things to them or give certain points or advice to them, they don't receive it because they don't respect it, but coming from an older man, they will take it in because they respect men and they have a little more respect for older men. So I'm happy that it sunk in his head. At least it doesn't matter who told him, as long as he received it. So he vows to do better. He hands her a gift, and they're going on a honeymoon trip. So finally, but Destiny also offered a honeymoon trip as well. And that's the thing men don't seem to realize. Married or not, if you're not filling that deficit, your partner will get it elsewhere. Let me say this again. Married or not, relationship or not, serious or not, if you're not fulfilling the deficit in the relationship, your partner will look for it elsewhere. Sometimes they don't even look for it elsewhere. Like, for example, Kimmy just received it. She got it. It was given to her because she had been speaking about the honeymoon. He's like, oh, if you want to do the honeymoon, you plan it. And for me, that just seems as if I'm not really that interested in it. But if it's something you want, you plan it and I'll just attend. Which to me is that just seems like half a. Like, you want me to plan it? Like, it just seems like I'm the one that's interested. Are you really interested in it? So I'm happy that they did the trip, and you're like, I hope Destiny doesn't get any ideas thinking that she's gonna be invited and there's gonna be this threesome and so on and so forth. So yeah, there's that. And he stated, oh, there's a deficit, and she filled it. Definitely, that should give you a wake-up call that if you're not willing to fulfill the deficit in your relationship, she's gonna get it elsewhere. And I know you would not want her to get it elsewhere. So do what you need to do as a man for your marriage, for your wife. Anyways, Kimmy looked very sexy. She was very curvy, showed off all the curves, all the cleavage. She looked really young. I loved the wig. It was laying very well. And so they had a wonderful time. So anyways, you guys, that's it. Did I see any previews for next episode? Not really that I remember. So let me know what you guys think about this episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Was it giving or not? Let me know in the comment section, and see you guys next time for another review from the Ranting Shop with me. Bye.